Okay, hello. So, I do not have a set of these notes for you guys. You can write them down if you would like to. I find these to be very, very helpful. So, typically, if you were in my classroom, we would be doing these notes instead of the notes that you have online, like we did on Friday. So, I'm going to go through them. They're really, really good notes for the quiz, especially maybe the bonus. This is my big hint, that bonus. All right, so there are about 300 known minerals. I think it might be more, but there's a lot of known minerals. I think there's maybe more than 300. And rocks are made of one or more minerals. The mineral chart is located on the last page, page 16 of your reference table. And there are about 10 minerals listed there that I'd feel that you guys should be responsible for. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 20, 21 overall. So if you were in class, I would have you actually only look at 10. The 10 would be graphite, galena, talc, sulfur, selenite gypsum, biotite mica, halite, calcite, and potassium feldspar and olivine. I think I added one too many. Graphite, galena, talc, sulfur, selenite gypsum, biotite mica, halite, calcite, potassium feldspar, and olivine. Yes, it's 10. Sorry, my addition was off a little bit. So, looking at those, for most minerals, color is usually a poor test in that most minerals have more than one color. So, if you were looking at these, you could look at what would be most likely yellow. That's sulfur out of the list that I gave you. So, I don't know where my pencil went. On my reference table, what you guys should do is, I'd say if you had like a highlighter or something, like definitely highlight it. Graphite, galena, talc, sulfur, selenite, gypsum, halite, biotite mica, calcite, potassium feldspar, and olivine. So, right here, these two. The next three below this one. Then skip one. Then the next three. Skip quite a few to potassium feldspar. Skip one. And olivine. You'd be left with that. So looking at those, which ones are generally yellow? Well, that's going to only be sulfur. And green would be olivine. Those are the only two that like you could definitely tell their color, because if you look at like potassium feldspar, it says it's white to pink. That's not helpful like at all. Luster. Minerals are generally classified into two lusters, either metallic, shiny like a piece of metal, or non-metallic, which is not. And we went over that last time. So if you were to look at the metallic colors, look at the side. It says metallic over here and non-metallic there. So if you were to fill this out, the only two metallic we have are graphite and galena. So I can actually go over and switch it here. So graphite right here and galena right there. Those two are metallic, whereas talc, sulfur, selenite, gypsum, halite, biotite mica, calcite, potassium feldspar, and olivine, those are all non-metals or non-metallic. So streak, use a porcelain, a clean porcelain plate, a white, and run a mineral across it. If it leaves a color streak, that's what you're looking for. These are listed in the distinguishing characteristics column. So, come on. There it is. Sorry, I had to wait for that. Okay, so this column right here, distinguishing characteristics, you can tell, it'll tell you what type of streak they may or may not have. If it doesn't say it has a streak, there's no streak. So right here it says flexible and thin sheets. That means there's no streak. But look right here, yellow to white streak. And so that's what you'd be looking for. So looking at the ones that have a streak and the ones that have colorless, I think there's going to be less colorless or more colorless, or less, sorry. So olivine, definitely colorless. Potassium feldspar is colorless. Calcite is colorless. Biotite mica is colorless. Halite, colorless. Selenite, colorless. Sulfur has, so sulfur would be color. Talc, colorless. And then these two are both going to be color. So graphite, galena, and sulfur would be your streak, and all the rest would be colorless. Cleavage or fracture. We went over this before. Fracture means if you hit it with a hammer, it would break into 1,000 pieces. Cleavage means if you hit it with a hammer, it would break into nice, even pieces. So on this, right here, where you see these check marks, that'll tell you if it's cleavage or fracture. So there are a couple. There's only 7 out of the 21 that fracture. Sulfur and olivine are the only 2 in your group of 10 that I would like you to know that fracture. Everything else cleaves. One thing to note is right here in biotite, they cleave into flexible, thin sheets. And then let's see, right, where is it? Calcite, rhombohedral cleavage. Very important, hint, hint, hint. Very important to know. Cubic cleavage for halite. That means when it breaks into cubes. It looks like little squares. There's another big hint. Hardness. This is the scale from 1 to 10, with 1 being really soft and a 10 being really, really hard. Remember, it's Mohs scale. Examples of hardness is for a 1, graphite, or even better, talc. And 10 is a diamond. So ways to test. Your fingernail is a 2.5. If it scratches the mineral is less or softer than a 2.5. If it does not, it is harder. A copper penny is, that one is 3.5. Glass plate is 5.5. You try to scratch the plate glass with a mineral. You don't do the other way around. If it does scratch, then it is harder than the 5.5. If not, it's softer. So ideally, I'd have you go and mark all of these. You can see this in the hardness scale right here. So everything I'm telling you, you can find right on here. This is helpful for when we go through the flow chart. All right, so mineral flow chart. What the heck is a mineral flow chart? So the mineral flow chart is going to be up top. So we're going to look through the 10. So if I was to take graphite, this is our flow chart. So graphite, looking at it right here, is it, number 1, metallic or non-metallic? It is metallic. Okay, so now I have to choose between cleavage and fracture. Does it cleave or does it fracture? Well, graphite cleaves. So I'm up to this little box right here. Does it have a streak? Is it colorless or does it have a color? Let's see. It's got a black streak. So it's colored. Is it soft or hard? Right at the 6, if it's harder than a 6, it's hard. If it is 5.5 or less, It is soft. So actually the 5.5, that would be your difference between soft and hard. So is it soft or hard? Let's look at this. It's 1 to 2. It is definitely soft. So my mineral graphite would be an A. Well, let's do galena. All right, so galena is metallic. It is metallic. Does it cleave? It cleaves. Galena cleaves. So it cleaves. Is it colorless or white? Let's see. Black streak. So there's a color to it. Is it soft or hard? It is definitely soft. So I would label it an A. Did you notice both of them are A's? That's okay. It can be. That is how it works. You just follow this flow chart based on your reference table right here. So I'm going to go all the way down to olivine. Right here, it's a 6.5. Fractures, no, so it's non-metallic. It fractures. There's no streak. And let's see if it's hard. It is most definitely hard. So it's going to be hard. It is going to be a P. All right, and the last one I want to go through with you guys real quick. Why don't we look at potassium feldspar? Don't mix it up with plagioclase. It's potassium. It's the one commonly known as orthoclase. So let's look at it here. It's a 6, so it's kind of hard. It cleaves. Definitely says it cleaves right there. And 2 directions at 90 degrees. So let's go through it. So it is non-metallic. It cleaves. Has no streak. It is hard. Why is it hard? Because it's a 6. And look at that. The letter is L. All right, so that is it for right now. The activity that I'm going to have you do is real quick. When you're done with that, do your quiz. I must remind you guys, if you haven't already, you need to go back to the classroom at the very, very top. It says click here, do it every day. Every single day you come into my class and you do your work, you have to click that, fill out the short survey, submit it, and then you can get to work. So you watch this, you're going to do the activity, you're going to do the quiz, then you're going to do the lab. Okay, any questions? Hop on Zoom, 9:30 to 10, 1 to 2. I hope to see you there.